does rock. But more importantly, Nikola Tesla was a great inventor and scientist. He's the guy that made electricity available to everybody.
I thought Edison invented electricity.
Edison was another inventor along with Tesla. They actually worked together for a while making generators. Tesla was interested in AC, but Edison preferred working with DC. This started the Great War of the Currents.
AC/DC. Uncle Niles, you're talking about the bands again.
Actually, AC stands for alternating current, and DC stands for direct current.
What does that mean? I know alternating means to switch and direct mean one way, but what's that got to do with electricity?
You're right. In alternating current, it's the direction of the electric charge that is switching. AC is a safe way to transfer electricity over long distances. We use AC power things in our house like TVs and your video games. It's more efficient because it can travel farther without losing electricity. Direct current's different. The electric charge doesn't switch. It only flows in one direction. DC isn't very efficient. In fact, if direct current was used to power our homes, we'd have a large power plant every mile. But DC is still used today. Everything that uses batteries runs on DC power. Basically, DC electricity can be stored, and AC can't be stored, but does travel distance efficiently.
So if AC is better, why did Edison want to power the world with DC?
Edison had a lot of money invested in his work with direct current. Back in the 1800s, electricity was so new, scientists were trying out different ways to get electricity into homes. The public was more familiar with Edison since his research was conducted in America. Tesla, a Serbian raised in Croatia, moved to America, so people weren't familiar with his work.
Wow, that sounds like a big deal. Who won the War of the Current?
Mr. Edison, we're going to use your invention to power the world. And Mr. Tesla, we're going to use yours in the background of Frankenstein movies.
That's Frankenstein.
Oh, I wanted that one.
Actually, there wasn't a clear winner, but Tesla did make it so our homes are powered with a more efficient alternating current. Plus, a lot of his inventions are still being used today.
Really? Inventions like what?
Lots of things. The main thing is he's known for is turbines.
Oh, turbines. We saw those on my field trip to the dam. That's how water makes electricity, right?
Yeah. Water turns a wheel which makes magnets spin around a copper wire. This is called an induction generator and creates electricity. Yet another one of Tesla's great inventions.
So alternating current, turbines, and induction generators. What else did Tesla invent?
His ideas make a lot of our gadgets we use today possible.
Gadgets like my iPhone?
Well, not quite, but cell phone technology does use his discoveries of radio wave transmission.
I've always been told Macaroni invented the radio.
You mean Marconi. Marconi did invent the radio, like the one in our car, but he took Tesla and other scientists' ideas to create the radio. It was Tesla's patent that made the radio possible. He discovered how electricity moves through the air by radio waves.
So did Tesla do anything with his radio wave discoveries?
You betcha. Tesla's greatest dream was to make electricity available to everyone, regardless of income or location. So he built a Tesla coil that would send electricity through the air by radio waves. A house would have a receiver that would bring the electricity into the home.
I wonder what that would look like.
Well, guess what? That's why we're here.
Really? We get to see a Tesla coil?
Not just a Tesla coil, but the world's most powerful conical Tesla coil. Get ready. It looks like it's almost time to see Tesla's dream in action.
Okay, guys, are we ready to see the Tesla coil?
Yes.
1.5 million volts.
Yes.
World's most powerful conical Tesla coil?
Yes.
Okay, we're getting a little more excited. Well, I'll remind you, you are welcome to take pictures. Go ahead and turn off the flash of your camera so you can get a much better picture of what's going on. And I will warn you, it's a little bit loud, so you have to cover your ears. And we're going to turn down the lights. Okay, guys, help me out with the countdown. 3, 2, 1. So, thanks for coming today. Before you came here, had you ever heard of Nikola Tesla before? Maybe a few people? Okay, very good. Now, I bet all of you had heard of Thomas Edison before, right? Yeah, that's not fair. Nikola Tesla did just as much for your life. In fact, as you learned in the video, if you use a cell phone, or a radio, or if you ever used a walkie-talkie, or if you use wireless communication in your home, if you came here in a car, if you've ever had an x-ray taken, if you've ever used a fluorescent light bulb, you can thank Nikola Tesla for all of those things. In fact, he had over 250 patents to his name before he died in 1943. Now today we're going to talk about one of those inventions, the Tesla Plug. But why? It was really awesome, wasn't it? But what does it actually do? Well, Tesla had this big idea. He wanted everybody to have access to electricity. And he thought the best way to do it was going to be wirelessly. So imagine that. Think of a world without power cords, power lines, and cables. I mean, who's ever lost their power because a tree fell on a power line? Isn't that suck? Yeah, it wasn't any fun at all. Wouldn't it be great not to have to worry about that? So the idea is, why don't we all use Tesla coils today? So the first part of that question is, does it even work? So we just did a science experiment to find out. Did anybody notice the Tesla coil sign over here?
Yes.
Did you notice if it lit up when the coil went off? Very good. Good observation. Tell you what, that sign doesn't have a power cord. I couldn't turn it on even if I wanted to. The only thing that lit it up was all the electricity coming from the Tesla coil itself. So that means Tesla's big idea worked, right? Wireless transmission of electricity. So then why don't we use Tesla coils? Ah, yes, that is one big part of it, because Edison fought against it. That is true. Another part of it is because it's very hard to charge anybody for electricity that's not going through a wire. Also true. But one of the biggest issues was, did you see all that lightning coming out of the top? 1.5 million volts. Is that fun to play with? Yes, but probably not safe, right? So how did I know you'd be safe in here? The cage, very good. It's called a Faraday cage, named after Michael Faraday. He discovered if you have grounded metal between you and an electric discharge, that electricity is attracted to that metal, and it will hit it every single time. So our coil is surrounded by 2.5 tons of grounded steel to keep everybody safe and happy. Are we all glad about that? Yes, me too. I'd probably be the first to get shocked up here, so I'm very glad we have it up there. Now, did you know you came here to Faraday cage? Your car. Is your car made out of metal? At least parts of it, right? Is your car on the ground? I certainly hope so. It's hard to drive it if it's not. Well, if lightning strikes your car, it's going to go through the metal and into the ground, and you are perfectly safe inside. In fact, that is the second most safe place to be in a thunderstorm. The safest place to be, of course, is in your home, inside. Very good. Now, I know it looked a lot like lightning. We call it the Caged Lightning Show. But actually, it's the Caged Lightning-like Discharge Show. I call it that because it's not made in the same way as real lightning. There's 2 big differences. First big difference is it uses alternating current. Lightning is direct current. The second big difference, it's plugged into the wall. It gets electricity from the electrical grid. It actually takes about 440 volts, just about the same as your washing machine at home. What the Tesla coil does is takes a little bit of electricity, turns it into a lot of electricity as it goes through the copper wire. Turns it into 1.5 million volts at the top. Now, real lightning is made totally differently, and we're about to discover how. But before I do you want to see this one more time? Yes. Okay, are we ready? Here we go, down with the light.
Watch it.
And in 3, 2, 1. Okay, that's always pretty awesome, right?
Yeah.
But I want to know about real lightning too. So we have this other machine up here. It's called a Van de Graaff generator. It's invented by Robert Van de Graaff in 1929. And the way it works is, can you see that red belt? It's going round and round and going across a metal brush at the top. As it does so, that brush is scraping off electrons, putting them on top of that ball, giving it a negative charge. Okay, well that's cool, but what does that have to do with lightning? Let's think about it. Where does it look like lightning comes from? Up in the sky, up in the clouds, right? So clouds aren't just big empty things. There's stuff up there. There's water droplets, ice crystals, dust particles, and all these little particles are flying around, and sometimes they they rub against each other. And if they rub against each other long enough, something happens. Have you ever taken a balloon and rubbed it on the side of your head?
Yeah.
Yeah, what did that do? Made your hair stand up. Do you remember what that was called? Static electricity. Very good. Guess what? That same static electricity is building up in those clouds. And it's building on top of my ball to give it a negative charge. Now, what's the opposite of negative? Positive. Very good. So if we have a negative charge up here, we're going to have a positive charge down here. Now, they're opposites. What do opposites do? Attract. That means they are both sending fingers of energy looking for the other one. And if they meet in the middle, we're going to get a lightning bolt. So let's see if we do. So I'm going to generate some more negative charge over here. So that's negative. What's this one? Positive. Let's see what happens. So this is real lightning. That's only baby lightning. Of course, baby lightning can still be about 50,000 volts. But it's not going to hurt you or harm you if it was to zap you. I will admit it's not my favorite thing to do. But as you can see, I'm still here and I've gotten shocked a lot. Now notice we get lots of sparks wherever we go. What do you think is going to happen if the two balls touch each other? Nothing. This is because positive and negative have now found each other. They don't have to go looking for the other one. Meaning, no shocking. As long as your hand is touching this ball and does not let go until I tell you it's safe, you're perfectly fine and nothing is going to get you, I promise. But it is important to listen carefully. Otherwise, you might get a reminder that listening would have been a good idea. But like I said, it's not going to harm you in any way. Now, the other important thing to keep in mind is just like real lightning, this uses direct current. And direct current doesn't just go away. I have to tap it a few times with the grounded discharge wand to give all that extra energy somewhere to go. And now, as you can see, totally safe to the touch. Now, the only people who should not experiment with a Van de Graaff are those with an insulin pump, a pacemaker, a defibrillator, or any other electronic device operating organs inside your body. Okay? Okay. With that in mind, I have a pretty cool trick I can do. But I need a volunteer who's very brave and has awesome hair. No. Oh, let's see. You know what? I have to pick on you. Come on. Yeah. Build up bravery. Okay. Step right up. What you need? Rebecca. Okay, Rebecca, I want you to stay right here. Put your left hand right there. Okay. Look straight ahead in the mirror. Here we go, Rebecca. Keep holding on. Don't let go. Now, can you shake your head for me like you're saying no? Like you don't want to be up here. I know you don't want to be up here more than that. Atta girl. Rebecca, what's starting to happen to your hair? Static is standing up, right? This is because you're touching that ball. So that negative charge has now traveled over your entire body. Pretty cool. Now we know positive and negative attract. What about two negatives? Does it look like they attract? No, they're pushing apart and trying to push your hair, and now it's dancing in the wind. I like that. Now the fun part is, if I use my discharge wand and take away some of that negative, things get a little confused. Feel that? What does it feel like? Pushing. Good. Kind of tickly, spiderwebby feeling. So what's happening is I'm confusing all the molecules around you in the air. They're not sure if they're positive or negative, if they're coming or going, or what they should do. You're doing a very good job. Don't let go just yet. You got to discharge. You're going to do one last tickle. There you go. You can let go. Give her a round of applause for being so brave. Good job, Rebecca. Okay. That's pretty much the show, guys. But anyone who wants to have your hair raised will now have a chance. I'm going to open up the doors to the rest of the museum. If you would like to have your hair raised, you can